Thank you, Casey. It's a pleasure to be here with you this evening. The three words in front of us, Constitutional Freedom Alliance, were a natural match for Lawson for Congress in our campaign. I was really excited to hear about the work that CFA was starting to do because the goal of inspiring what I believe to be one critical missing ingredient in Washington, and that ingredient is simply accountability. Accountability among our elected officials. I was a Republican nominee for Congress in our 4th District against David Price 2 years ago in 2008. And at the time, never having been in politics at all in my life and just having kind of gone through life as an engineer and a doctor and a father and a husband and an extremely concerned citizen, I decided, hey, why don't we start a crash course, a crash educational curriculum on what is the job description of our congressional representative. So the curriculum was really quite simple. I gave out 50,000 copies of our founding documents during that campaign. You'll note that it has a nicely rounded corners there. This is a concealed carry version, so you can get it out quickly in the event of a constitutional crisis. But I looked at that as planting seeds. And I still have conversations today with people who remembered me from 2008. Hey, I remember you. You're that Republican with a Constitution. And for the people who read it, it really does make a difference. And it starts by just letting people understand, hey, you know what? I know a lot of the language is dry. It can be kind of technocratic and processed and so forth. But just start with Article 1, Section 8. Read Article 1, Section 8 and read what I, as your representative, am supposed to be doing in Washington. And when people realize that our government was established to have enumerated powers and that we, the people, through the genius of the founders, are supposedly free to live our lives and to build our businesses, our jobs, and our communities right here at the local level, that's what this country's about. And where my concern tripped over into the alarm bells going off saying, hey, it's time to run for Congress, it was sort of unexpected, but it really started from my experience starting and growing a business. Because I began to realize when I left residency and started my hospital software company back in 2000, here all of a sudden, the only way I was going to be able to feed my family, my kids, is if I had happy customers. I couldn't put a gun to anyone's head to give me money. I had to have customers that were so happy about the product we were selling, not only would they buy from us, but they'd tell their friends, hey, these guys do what they say they're going to do. It's a great product. They'll take good care of you. And over a period of about 5 years, I began to live a little bit of the American dream. Because I saw firsthand it's possible to do well by doing good. When my emphasis as a business owner is on happy customers, I need to have excited and motivated employees. We need to put a lot of thought into how we take care of our customers. That's capitalism. Capitalism works, right? Yes. But when we let capitalism decay into the crony capitalism, the corporatism that runs Washington today, where it doesn't matter how well you treat your customers, it matters how much you pay your lobbyists. Because if you pay your lobbyists enough, you can get this favor slipped into this bill. You can get this legislative monopoly, so all of a sudden folks are practically and increasingly forced to buy your product that isn't really a good deal in the first place. That's not capitalism, folks. And when I see my children's future being literally destroyed by people who don't understand how important it is that we are free to live lives of service and do well by doing good, it's upsetting, isn't it? And that's why we're here tonight. But the good news is, the more people I talk to on the campaign trail, the more inspired I become that we are reaching a tipping point in this country's history. I just came from an event, a fundraiser in the mountains over the weekend. I was speaking with a well-known and extremely congressional representative, Congresswoman Virginia Fox, and she laid it out. Congresswoman Fox laid it out for the people who were with us at this event. And she said, folks, I've been there. I've been in Washington. I see what's going on. And if we don't stop this slide in 2010, she didn't really want to speculate. But we don't need to speculate, in fact, because we know what's going to happen. Did anyone hear the news today? Did anyone hear what Harry Reid was saying when he went out to talk with a bunch of progressive bloggers in Las Vegas? Harry Reid is up there saying, I know you guys wanted the public option. You wanted a U.S. National Health Service. Don't worry, you're going to get it. It's just going to take a little more time. It's incrementalism, right? When the answer, if Harry Reid would only read, the answer is so clearly not putting the government in control of our healthcare system, correct? There was just an article today in a major UK newspaper that talks about the absolutely draconian cuts that are being forced on Great Britain's National Health Service, the hospitals that are closing, the rationing that's coming for routine procedures. That's how it gets to the point of doctors not being able to take care of their patients. Then you have food safety legislation that's been passed by the House. David Price voted for it. It's coming up for the Senate. You pass that, and pretty soon we're not going to be able to grow our own food. Where in the Constitution have we allowed ourselves to get to the point of giving so much control of our lives to a government that is completely unaccountable, habitually lies to us, and is populated by a political class that cares only for their profit and their ability to feather their own nest? I am a huge proponent of term limits. I'm also a huge proponent of eliminating the perks that come with going to Congress. Can you name me any other occupation where you can go up and you've got not only a retirement plan, you've got health care for life, the congressional pension. Pensions are a thing of the past. Private industries have dispensed of pensions a long time ago. We figured out that doesn't work. Congress is not a place to go to retire. It's a place to go back and to go and to serve the people and follow a defined job description. So with respect to the Constitutional Freedom Alliance, constitutional has been a word that's been very close to my heart for a long time. Freedom is also closely related because the basis for our freedoms comes from our very first founding document, our Declaration of Independence. And one cannot consider the Constitution as the system of government without recognizing that we need to have a federal government that aspires to live up to the ideals of our Declaration of Independence, where every American individual has the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The Constitution was just our founders' best efforts to put that system of government in place. But it's time to prune the bushes, yes? It's time to cut things back. And to make that happen, we desperately need an alliance. And they're not all going to be Republicans. And I can tell you, I'm going to beat David Price in 2010 here in North Carolina's 4th District. And I'm not going to beat him by just getting Republicans out to vote, although that is the most important ingredient in success. We need 70% turnout from our Republican base. But we also need unaffiliateds to realize that the answer does not come from delegating more and more power to the federal government. And it even calls for talking to our Democratic friends and saying, hey, you know what? I know you want to make the world better. I know you want to fix poverty. But if you had $1,000 and you really wanted to lift people out of poverty, would you give that $1,000 to the federal government? I have yet to find anyone of any political persuasion who would answer yes to that question. There is always something better to do with your money than to give it to the federal government. So the message that will win is the message that empowers us right here in North Carolina's 4th District to create our own businesses, grow our own jobs, and to make our 4th District, our towns, our neighborhoods, and by extension our country the place we want it to be, the world we want to leave for our children. I commend the CFA for doing this important work, for getting candidates to stand up and be counted, to understand what our job description is as we look to serve you in Congress. I appreciate your support and look forward to your questions. Thank you very much.